여러분 안녕하세요. 지니 선생님입니다. We talked about making Korean sentences last time. Making Korean sentences is quite simple because you place the verb last and put what you want to say simply in front of the verb. Then let's take a look at these sentences. 엄마 집 가요. 선생님 빵 먹어요. Looking at the first sentence, it says, my mom is going home. What if I want to say, I am going home with my mom? Is it the same? If it is the same, how can you differentiate one meaning from the other? In Korean, there is a way to differentiate them to clarify the subject. And that is done by using something called a particle. A particle is a letter or letters that should be attached to the noun to clarify the use of the noun in a sentence. To clarify the use of a noun, a letter 가 should be attached to the noun 엄마. Also, to indicate to go to a place, a letter 에 should be added to the noun 집. Then the sentence becomes 엄마가 집에 가요. Now let's take a look at the second sentence. I want to make 선생님 as a subject in a sentence. To do that, this time I need to add the letter E instead of 가. Why? Because the last letter of the word 선생님 has a 받침, which is a final consonant. Also, because 빵 is used as an object in a sentence, I'm going to add 을 to the noun 빵. Then the sentence becomes 선생님이 빵을 먹어요. As you see, it is obvious that the teacher is the subject and he or she is eating bread. Before I list the particles first, you need to know the definition of the particle. The particle is one of 9 parts of speech in Korean, and it is attached to the noun to indicate the usage of the noun in a sentence. Yes, the particle can be used with a pronoun and an adverb, but mostly it is used with a noun. Here's a list of particles you need to know now. Number 1, subject particles. 이, 가. Notice that I use a slash. That means you are going to use either the first or second one, depending on the final consonant. If the last letter of the noun has a final consonant, you're going to use 이. If there is no final consonant, you're going to use 가. 친구가 공부해요. Notice that 가 is used for this noun 친구 because 구 does not have a final consonant. Take a look at another example. 폴이 놀아요. Notice that E is used for this noun 폴 because it has a final consonant. The second one is an object particle. Number 2, object particles. 을, 를. If the noun is used as an object, either 을 or 를 will be used. Just like 이 or 가, the same rule is applied. If there is a final consonant in the last letter of a noun, you're going to use the one that has 이응. If there is no final consonant, you're going to use the other one. Take a look at examples. 엄마가 저녁을 먹어요. 선생님이 컴퓨터를 사요. As you see, in the first sentence, 저녁 is used as an object, and there is a final consonant in the last letter of the word 저녁. Therefore, the one that has 이응 is used. In the second sentence, the word 컴퓨터 does not have a final consonant in the last letter. Therefore, 를 is used. You will see this kind of a pattern for the use of particles and for conjugating verbs. That is why I keep saying to use the one that has 이응 with a final consonant and use the other one without a final consonant. The next particle that we're going to use is 은 and 는. These are called the topic particle or the subject particle. I will call and categorize them as topic particles here. In fact, we've already seen these. Do you remember 나는? In the word 나는, 는 is in fact a particle. Number 3, topic particle, 는. The same rule applies. If the last letter of a noun has a final consonant, you're going to use the one that has iung, which is in this case. And you're going to use the other one, 는, if there is no final consonant. The usage of these particles occur quite often. When the subject was used already and the same subject is talked about the second or third time, you're going to use the particle 는. Also, you can use them to compare, to contrast, or to emphasize. Take a look at the following sentences. 지니 선생님이 한국어를 가르쳐요. 지니 선생님은 예뻐요. 아빠가 일해요. 엄마는 텔레비전을 봐요. 폴은 똑똑해요. As you see in the first sentence, 지니 선생님 was used already. When it's used the second time, notice that 은 was used. For the second sentence, we are comparing the two subjects, 아빠 and 엄마. Therefore, the second subject, 엄마, used 는. For the third sentence, 폴은 똑똑해요. That means Paul is smart. You can say 폴이 똑똑해요. But when you say 폴은 instead of 폴이, you're emphasizing the smartness of Paul. To summarize today's lesson, make sure to understand the definition of particle. A particle is a letter or letters that should be attached to mostly nouns or pronouns without any space in between. It tells the use or characters of the noun in a sentence. We talked about 3 different particles: subject particles, 이, 가, object particles, 을, 를, and topic particles, 은, 는. Be sure to memorize each pair together and know the rule that you're going to use to pick the letter that has iung when there is a final consonant in the last letter of the noun. 다음 시간에 봐요.